Hey y'all, welcome back. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about the latest Skullector doll that is about to be releasing, and that is the Mattel and Monster High collab with Disney to do a set of Nightmare Before Christmas dolls. That was a lot of brands already. I'm so sorry. I'm just like, okay, Mattel, Monster High, Disney, Nightmare Before Christmas. There's a lot of fingers in this pot, but they're coming out with a set of Jack and Sally dolls, and I wanted to give you my opinions on the release and the dolls because y'all already know I'm always full of opinions, and even when I don't plan on buying dolls, which, spoiler alert, I don't plan on buying these, I always want to talk about them just because it is kind of fun to do so. So if you enjoy this video, if you could give it a like, that's super helpful to me. And then if you're new here and you enjoy your time, definitely subscribe so you can see more. I also have all of my links with like Amazon, PO Box, and my like other social medias in the description, so you can check those things out if you really just want to support me in other ways. But yeah, talking about the dolls, definitely feel free to leave your opinions in the comments down below. I'm very curious to see how people feel about these. I feel like a lot of interactions that I've had in like DMs and stuff, people are less excited about dolls, but I also see a bunch of people posting about how excited they are for this set. So it seems like maybe the doll community is a bit divided. So I'm just very curious to see what you guys think. But yes, starting off with the like details of the release, we did get like a teaser image, I want to say Tuesday, and then we got stock images as of today, which is Wednesday when I am filming this video. So the dolls are set to release on Mattel Creations. That's the only place that you can get them, at noon Pacific Standard Time, which is weird because normally the Monster High Skullector releases or any Monster High releases on Mattel Creations go up at 9 a.m. PST. So like it is interesting that they've changed the time. I know that that's made a lot of people nervous because there's like a little bit of fear there because Mattel Creations does not have the best history when it comes to releases. And so I think some people are a bit nervous about what if it's actually going up at 9 a.m. like normal. I understand that, but all the official sources do say that it should be going up at noon Pacific Standard Time, so I'm just going to go with that and hope that that is correct and there's no weird fluke like Mattel Creations is wont to do. And the set is going to retail for $90 US. Of course, that is going to convert to other prices in other countries, and it's pretty much always more expensive, so definitely take that into account. But those are like the details of the release. Now we actually get to talk about the dolls, which is kind of the more exciting part. I guess I should preface this by saying that I'm not really a big Nightmare Before Christmas fan, so when we got like rumors of this coming, I already knew that I wasn't going to be interested. I used to love the movie when I was younger, and like mid-high school I kind of fell off and I've never gotten back into it, so it's just not something that is targeted to me. So with that in mind, please be aware that that is my bias. I'm just talking about my opinions, and it's totally chill if you feel differently about the dolls. But I'm probably going to have some not so great things to say, and some of that is going to be influenced by the fact that I just am not a fan of the franchise, and that's just how it is. So that is what we are taking a look at. So before I actually get into the dolls, I do want to give y'all just like a quick reminder of what the two characters, Jack and Sally, look like in the movie. We're going to go ahead and start off with Jack. So he has like a pretty iconic appearance, very, very thin because he is a skeleton, so that does make sense. Round skeleton head, and he's got like a pretty distinctive, I don't think this is technically a tuxedo, but like a suit sort of situation going on here. So that is like the memory refresh of what Jack looks like in the design. And then this is what he looks like as a doll. And I personally think this is pretty good. I know different people have different opinions, but I think that this is pretty solid. It is exciting that he is like a brand new sculpt. He has skeleton hands and presumably a skeleton body, and that's not something we've seen from Monster High on a male doll before. So it is really, really cool that it seems like they created a literal entire new doll sculpt just for him. He still has the very recognizable round head, and honestly, I think that in terms of like the body sculpting, this looks very, very close to the movie, and I like that just because I think the accuracy is cool. But on the other hand, for like a Monster High doll collab, if you're looking at other Skullectors where they've been obviously influenced by other franchises and films, they've been more inspired and they've looked more Monster High. And I will say that I understand the critique that Jack doesn't really look Monster High. Like, this just looks like a Jack doll. It doesn't necessarily read Monster High all that much, which again, for some people is going to be fine, for some people it's not, but I did just want to address that because I definitely see it. I think that he is the better of the two, but I understand why people are a little bit disappointed. The other thing with him is that they did do a little bit of experimentation with his color scheme, so they gave him this horizontal orange striping on his vest, which is not present in the movie, as you just saw. I don't think it's like particularly exciting, but you know, it's there. I know some people are pretty disappointed because other than that, he's a pretty faithful recreation of his movie version, and then that's like the most different part. I don't know, it kind of is what it is. I have a lot less to say about Jack. The last thing to talk about is his shoes, which they sure are shoes. Like, I don't have that much of an opinion about him. I have a lot more to say about Sally for sure. So just like with Jack, it's only fair if I give you guys like an image so that you have Sally fresh in your minds. And I'm actually going to give you two because this first one is a screenshot from the movie. So this is like the most accurate possible. It's from the source material. But a lot of scenes in The Nightmare Before Christmas are very, very desaturated and like they're not super vivid colors. So I also have this image to show you of like a 2D model of Sally so that you can kind of see the colors that she is meant to be, just because the doll is more saturated, and I feel like it's not fair to compare to like the movie scenes where it's the dark and like the moonlight, you know, because it's just the colors aren't going to look the same under different lighting. And so I feel like this is the best way to like get an idea of what Sally should look like. So she does have like the blue skin, the vibrantly red hair, and her dress is quite bright and patchwork. And then this is what the doll looks like. And I don't think that she's the worst thing I've ever seen. I just also don't love her. My biggest thing is that something in the face to me is not really reading Sally. It's much more reading Emily from The Corpse Bride. I'm not sure what it is, because like they do both have blue skin, but something about the way the face has been painted just reminds me more of The Corpse Bride than it does of Sally. That could just be personal, though. Definitely let me know what you guys are thinking about that. But the other thing with her is that obviously Sally is covered in stitches. And like a big thing in the movie, it's that she will like loosen her stitches and unsew her hand from herself. And like her hand just scuttles off and does its own thing. And she utilizes the fact that she is a sewn together like person to get up to some hijinks. And that's a big part of her character within the movie. But the actual doll has like very little stitching to me. There is stitching on the mouth and then on the face, and you can even see that there is some on the neck, body, and a little bit on the arms, but I think that it's just so faint on the doll, or at least it appears that way in stock photos, and in the movie it's very like intense and it's very, very noticeable. And so that's the other thing that I think is really, really throwing me off about this Sally doll, is just that I feel like her stitches should have been more prominent. And I mean, this is Monster High. They literally have a character named Frankie Stein. Like, they can do prominent stitches, you know? They don't have to do these more subtle stitches. Sorry about the notification sound. And yeah, I just think it's interesting that they chose not to do it.
Editing me here. At this point, maybe I'm just complaining to complain because I'm an ornery person sometimes. But I did notice this while I was editing, that also the stitch on her mouth doesn't line up with the Monster High mold. Like, you can see that the mold is below where they've painted the stitching, and that really bothers me.
And then we get to the dress. I have to talk about the dress. I honestly didn't even like think about it at first, but it is another mermaid dress, which is just whatever. And I don't know that I like the patchwork very much. There is a big fat skullet on the dress, which I think is an attempt, obviously, at trying to make this doll look more Monster High. But it just doesn't seem to work. I don't feel like it's integrated very well. And I don't recall other Skullector dolls having Monster High logos on them. And if they did, it's definitely not in such a prominent position and like such a large scale. It feels very in your face and it feels very out there. It just doesn't quite make sense to me. The lace is fine. I think lace could be a cool way to try to do a more, I guess, upscale version of Sally's dress. But just the overall vibe, I'm not really working with. And then for her shoes, we do have something a bit more exciting. We've got like some little potion jars. She has a deadly nightshade on one of her heels. So that's a little bit more exciting and definitely thematic to the movie. And I do like these in the sense that I think that they are very Monster High. You know, Monster High has a pretty big focus on getting detailed shoes when it comes to more Gen 1 inspired dolls. So I think that the shoes are cool. Just the overall appearance is not really working for me. She does come with a little like thread bag, which is cool because again, like I said, a big thing with Sally is that she will unstitch her arms and like legs and stuff, and then she'll stitch herself back together. So that is thematic, and I do like that. I don't think it's the most standout piece ever, but it's cool that she has it. There is no Zero, which is pretty notable because I feel like a lot of people are a huge fan of Zero, the ghost dog with like the glowing nose. And it is kind of sad to see that we didn't get that. The box, it sure is a box. There's like an outer sleeve that has a picture of the dolls and has the like logos of all of the associated brands on it. And then if you peel off the like outer cage, it looks like, I'm just kind of assuming because like, I obviously don't have this in hand, so I don't know for sure, but it looks like it's kind of an outer piece that you could then peel off. And then this is what you would see. And it's fine. Like, I'm not trying to diss it. It's not that it's bad packaging. It is nice. I just don't think it's like the most standout thing we've ever seen, you know? Like, it's cool. It's whatever. I don't know. I think this release wasn't for me, so maybe I'm being a little bit hard on it. But also, I just don't know if they've really done that much. There was a lot of talk online about who really had the biggest hand in designing this, because obviously you have the Mattel and Monster High designers, but then you also have Disney, because I didn't know this, but it's like the 30th anniversary of The Nightmare Before Christmas. So Disney is going to want to have a decent say in this and like make sure that it comes out looking the way they want it to. So there was some discussion about like who ended up designing this. I don't honestly care. Like, it doesn't matter to me whether this is more of a Disney doll or more of a Monster High doll. Personally, I'm not obsessed, but again, definitely it's okay if you guys are. Like, I don't want to be rude or anything because I think it's just a personal opinion, and if you guys like it, you like it. That's totally fine, and I wish you luck buying them if you are trying to. But yeah, I thought that was interesting that people were trying to figure out like who was quote unquote at fault, to use that word. I don't think that that's necessarily the right word, but it's like the best one that I can come up with. And it's just like, it doesn't really matter to me. The other thing with this though, and the thing that I think hit me the hardest, was that it's just yet another release. And I literally just made a video about this, so I know I'm being very repetitive, so I'm sorry. But it's just getting ridiculous. If you look just at the collector level, anything that's not technically a Playline doll, so any of like the alumni dolls from Monster High, so far, for the month of October, we've maybe had the Skullector doll. I'm not 100% sure if she came out in late September or if that was October, but she was very recent. We had the Halliday Claudine, we had the Vampire Heart Draculaura, we had the Off-White collab, and then we have this one. I think that's all of them.
It's not. There's also the Stitched in Style Frankie.
I'm pretty sure that's all that I have to list off. But that is too many collector dolls, and it's just exhausting and frustrating. And I know that I said all this before in a dedicated video, and I know that October is like Monster High's month because it's the month of Halloween. It makes sense. But this is getting ridiculous. You know, all of these collector level dolls coming out in the same month. I get having a couple out because it's like, yeah, it's October. It's a month for Monster High. But this is too many, and so when I saw this release, I was just so grateful that I don't care about Nightmare Before Christmas, and I honestly had to laugh, because it's getting so ludicrous at this point that it's circled back to being funny to me. Sorry, I kind of got off on a tangent there. Overall, I just don't really care about this release. I don't think it was the best executed. I don't really care about the franchise. I'm burnt out on all of the Monster High collector releases. So it's just like this big trifecta of reasons that I'm not excited about it. But again, I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum, so it's totally cool if you are. Like I said earlier, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below on these dolls, and whether you think that they are good representations of the characters from the movies, or if you're excited about them, all of that jazz. I would just be very curious to see if you guys are feeling how I am, or if I am just the odd one out here. But yeah, either way, I hope you were able to enjoy the video and enjoy my little antics talking about dolls today. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye, guys.